there are people who think that oppression and enslavement of people by the others is the exclusive right of the Europeans. But it's not true. The Egyptians were enslaving the Israelites, and Egyptians were not Europeans, and they are still not Europeans. Babylonians have enslaved the Jews or Israelites, but they were not Europeans. Oppression is not exclusive right of the Europeans. You oppress or enslave somebody because you are armed more than him. You're powerful more than him. You can inflict injury or death to him if he resists. The very same way a robber is able to take your money or your property because they are armed and they can inflict harm or they can kill you if you resist. But when you die, they will take it anyway. If you're injured, they will take it anyway. So any reasonable person to save himself, because as humans we have instinct to save ourselves, you accept and you submit. So oppression and enslavement is not an exclusive right of Europeans. People have been enslaving each other, oppressing each other throughout the world without Europeans getting involved. But we are made to believe that oppression and enslavement is the exclusive right of Europeans. When they came to South Africa, they took our land, and they didn't ask our land. They didn't just beg us or reasonably convince us. They were killing people, and then because they were better armed, they were able to finish us all, like they were trying to do in Australia and North America. But survival instinct kicks in, and people submitted. They allowed them to take the land. But when you take the land, you find that the food you need to eat in order to survive, and food don't grow in space. You have to get the land. So they end up being slaves, working their land for subsistence, being slaves, everything being given away to the robber, who is the employer, who is a white man, who is the oppressor. Then they tell us that black people cannot understand maths, they cannot understand science. Then they stop us from getting further education. And then they say people with further education will earn more money, higher salaries. Then they say people with white skin color will earn more money, higher salaries, which automatically excludes black people. That was a way of enslaving us, so that we must be dependent on them. The same way an unborn child is dependent on the mother. They make laws that exclude us. And they say, as a black person, like you can say, a black person cannot run faster than 100 meters per hour. Then you say, everybody who cannot run faster than 100 meters per hour cannot be paid a large amount of salary. That was just discrimination and the exclusion of black people to oppress us. But there are people who believe that that is an exclusive right of white people. But it's false. Black people it can be done by anybody to anybody. Right now, we can make a law that says white people cannot own property. The same way during apartheid, they say black people cannot own property. We can say white people cannot own land. It is illegal for a white man to own land, which means they must be taken away from their farms, from any business. They have to work for black people. You see, it's about a determination. What people want is a political decision. It's not natural. Oppression of one group of people by others is not natural. It's not like white people have natural rights to oppress other people. White people can be oppressed also. The same way a white person can be robbed by a black person if a black person is armed. That is, they take away our land because they were armed. They could kill us if we resisted, when we resisted. And they did kill our people when they resisted. So we can make a law that says white people are not allowed to own land, to own property. Then we can make a law that says white people cannot understand English, not English, maths and science. They cannot do engineering. They cannot, whatever we want them. We want people to be paid more. We say white people are not allowed to do that. It's like we can say white people are not allowed to dig toilet. White people are not allowed to dig graves. If we want them to exclude them from earning more money, and then we can say all people who are allowed to dig graves are black, and black people, grave diggers will be earning more. Not that because they will be incapable of digging graves, because it will be not be allowed by the law, and if they try, they will be arrested. They will be breaking the law. That is what white people did to oppress us. But finally, to put a cream on top of the cake, as you say it, to top it up, they make images of God as a white man, and they say that to go to heaven you must do God's will. Would they make an image as a white man, which means to go to heaven people must do a white man's will. You see, it was something that was determined, politically determined, just to fool black people, to make us, because nobody wants to be banned. When they tell you that in hell you'll be banned, and you know even if you touch even a small flame, how painful that is. You don't want to be in that pain forever. So you end up submitting to God, God that will be presented as a white man. Then you submit to the white man's will. But we can make it, when do the same to them and make depict God as a black man, so that they must do God's will with black men. So they will have to submit to us. Oppression is not an exclusive right of white people. Just like in America. They say in God we trust. But who's that God? It's money. They write on their money, in God we trust. Which is God is money, money is God. In money we trust. In God we trust. Americans worship money. Americans' God is called dollar. So in America, black people can be the oppressors. They can make a law that says no white man can own land. And for one man to survive it, they will have to submit to those who have land. Otherwise, they will starve, because the food don't grow from the sky, and they cannot survive without eating. Then they can restrict white people from pursuing other careers, which are higher paid. That's why when there's freedom, no career path must be higher paid than the other. That's like the head is the one who thinks, but the head does not work. A head does not work. It thinks, then the hands work and the feet work. Which means when the head is thinking of working and the feet don't work, it's useless. When the head is thinking of working and the hands are not working, it's useless. Natural thing is equality, not oppressor. So what people don't, they must not think they've got exclusive rights to oppress others. They can be oppressed also, but we don't want to oppress them. We want nature to take its course. We want equality, but that is natural. They need to embrace equality before they make us angry, so that we will seek revenge, and they will say white people cannot own property, white people should not pursue other careers, the same way they did to us. Then we will tell them that God is black. They must do God's will to avoid going to hell, to avoid getting burned, to avoid getting shot like male black children are being killed like flies in America. And God's will be a black man's will because we will defeat God as a black man. The same way today they defeat God as a white man. So oppression is not any people's exclusive right. Anyone can oppress anyone. Then we should not oppress anyone. Let us all pursue equality.